Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hobby Hangout. My name is Leona. I'm an editor at Game Trade Media. We also have Dave Taylor and Gretchen here. Dave and Gretchen are hosts of Painting Happy Little Minis, and this is our Hobby Hangout Painting Happy Little Minis show. So today we kind of have a special episode. You might have noticed a different intro. We are actually part of Gen Con Online. And we are streaming in association with Czech Games Edition. And so today we are going to be talking about Sanctum, which is a game by Czech Games.
Here we go. Here we go. I got this. I got you.
You got us, Gretchen. We have so many Sanctum.
Both Dave and I are like, we have it right here.
More and more. So good, so good. So guys, say hi to us say hi to us in the chat. Let us know where you are watching from, if you've played Sanctum before. And today we're going to be talking all about how to paint a miniature, how to get started painting minis, and just how fun mini painting really is. So let's get to hobby and hanging out in. But first, we have a lot of new viewers who are here. So I wanted to let Gretchen give us a little intro onto what Painting Happy Little Minis is and what we're about. So Gretchen, take it away.
Gotta say it 5 times fast first. So Painting Happy Little Minis is a relaxing, wonderful, happy, good-natured show where you watch Dave and I paint minis and we answer your questions about different painting concepts, different techniques, anything that you might have thought of while painting your own minis. And you're free to paint with us, alongside of us, talk to us, because it's all live. Whether or not that's a good or bad thing, yet to be discovered. But you can, really just paint alongside, and any questions that you have, either Dave and I will have the answers. And if we don't have the answers, someone in the community will, because the show is all about fostering community for miniature painters. Whether you are someone who just started out and you have no idea what you're doing, as we all once were that person, or whether you are someone who's been doing it for years and years and years and years, and you have that experience to share. So it's just a happy, good-natured kind of show.
Yeah. So we're all about experience and different levels of experience. We also have a Facebook group online called Painting Happy Little Minis. So each Thursday we go live, but we also have a community online that you can check out during the rest of the week. And enjoy the miniature painting as well.
One of the things you said there, Gretchen, was if we don't know the answers, and my immediate response was going to be, we'll make stuff up.
Oh no.
We made it up, but we'll make it up.
Well, there will be answers, right, wrong, and no.
All the answers, indeed.
And we try new things on the show too. So we're all learning together. We're all experiencing mini painting together.
Real quick, I just wanted to say hi to people who are in the chat. So we have Victor, greetings from the edge of space and time. You would not believe how hard it is to find a good parking spot out here. I hope everyone is well. Welcome, Victor. Hopefully you were able to find a good parking spot. Very nice. Graham is hello from the UK. I got my cup of tea in hand, but not painting tonight. I have new stock to unpack for my new web store.
Oh, awesome.
Coffee. But the mug is trademarked.
Oh, gotcha. Tony is here. We have another friend from Twitch. Cat Swift is here. Hello.
Hey, Kat.
Roger Moore. We have some Keith, Jeff, Dan, Byron, David, John, Jeff, all of our friends. So say hi to us in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. And one of the things we always ask people who are watching, have you guys been recently painting, and what is your current work in progress? So today we are going to be painting miniatures from Sanctum. Dave, did you want to talk a little bit about the miniature that you're going to be painting?
That I'm painting? I'm painting
this
guy.
Woo!
He's a barbarian, so he's muscly. He's got an enormous axe, standing on top of a demon. There we go. He's got the demon down. It looks like he's a sort of. I'm not sure whether he's about to cut the head off that demon. There's
the demon.
He's got his foot sort of right up there. Whether he's going to cut his head off or whether he's about to wade into the next demon that's on the way.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I appreciate his scream though. That's a good yelling face going on.
Oh yeah, got a great
powerful yelling face.
Emphasis on the beard, not as much on the mustache, which is pretty cool. And the mohawk is awesome. But one of the things that I really love is his bracer on his left arm. There is a bundle of horns.
Gotcha.
So that'll be nice and steady. So it's not bone horns. It's sort of it's the outer casing. It's a hair, very strong fibrous hair, sort of non-antelopes or water buffalo, that kind of thing. So I think that would be a great protective piece. You get a lot of flex from that.
Nice.
So yeah.
Looking good. And then Gretchen, what miniature are you planning on painting
So
today?
I am going to paint the Outlaw.
Okay.
Here he is.
Cool.
Let me get him up on the screen.
So I chose him because I liked his Robin Hood-esque hat. And yeah, it's a nice, he's fashionable, which I feel like is important. Also, his weapon looks really cool. Like it's a very, it's like a sword mixed with a scythe. Like a scythe and a saber had a little baby. And I feel like that would be really useful because you could like hook things and grab and do a bunch of cool stuff with that.
Easy to cut open money bags.
Yeah.
Opening cans.
Or opening cans, just outlaw things.
Yeah.
No, I like his. I like the sculpt. It's very dynamic and fun. I like the cape.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's that crossbow as well. The hand crossbow.
Who needs a crossbow when you have a saber scythe?
Saber scythe.
I don't know if that actually has a real name.
Let's go with saber scythe.
The saber scythe.
See, you're making things up as we go along. And it's
Saber Scythe it is. If there's a real name, Tony and Justin from Czech Games are in the chat, so maybe they can let us know if there's a real name for that weapon.
It just looks the most functional. And you know what? I'm a pragmatic person. I feel like that would be a fun weapon to have. I would play with it if there was one around.
I am going to be painting the dancer. Because I love to dance, and I thought that was great. She has in the picture, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. This like cloth is almost like water. That's how it showcases in the. I think actually, in the picture it is just cloth, but it kind of looks like water, which I thought was cool. So
it's very flowy
because then it's kind of like a water dancer. So for those of you joining us, Sanctum is a board game which we are painting the miniatures for, and the board game is by Czech Games Edition. You have to choose a hero, one of the 4 heroes here. So that's gonna probably be the art that Dave and Gretchen are inspired by, but not limited to, I would argue. And so Dave, when you are first kind of working off of art like this, what are some of the things that you look for in terms of like choosing paint or color schemes?
I think the key thing is on your miniatures, on the final paint job, you want to have a lot of nice contrasts. So you want to have lights and darks. You want to have warms and cools. You want to have variations in texture as well. So the Slayer has got a lot of great sort of stuff. He's got very in the artwork here. He's got very sort of flushed Caucasian skin. It looks like he's ready for action. The blood is pumping. So you've got that sort of very sort of pinkish, flushed kind of feel. So we want to go with something like that on the skin. And what I'll be able to do is sort of balance that out a bit by throwing a little bit of blue into the metallics. So he's got armor plates on his legs, his knees, sort of on his thighs, the little trim on some of the armor plates. Looking at the artwork here, a little bit of trim around there that you will also pick out in silver. So a lot of that though is going against very dark brown leather there. So it's just going to give us some nice sort of tonal contrasts and hue contrasts as well. So I think it's that kind of thing. If you wanted to go for like a darker skin on there, you'd make sure that the leather was lighter to get that tonal contrast. So if you had like a very dark black skin, you'd go with a brighter silver on the armor or a brighter leather on the straps, just to get that contrast look. So you don't have to. You could go through and just paint it exactly like it is in the artwork, or if you want to change something up, understand that it might sort of impact how other areas look to get that similar sort of contrast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. I just wanted to say hello to Spider-Man from St. Louis, Missouri. They have a couple of squads of Dark Angels to be dry brushed.
Oh, cool.
And thank you for doing this. You're welcome. Sir Willem is not normally a painter, but Sanctum has inspired me to try. A good time.
That's very cool. One of the things that I didn't mention, sorry,
yes,
and it's something that our last commenter just suggested. The miniatures themselves come in 4 different colored plastics. So the dancer is in blue, the outlaw is in a like a sand sort of color. The huntress is in green, and the slayer is in red.
Yes.
There you go. So because I'm not really going to put any red on him, I'm going to make sure that the demon thing that is that cut the head off down on his base, I'm going to paint that red with red skin. So classic all kind of look, but it'll keep that connection. And something like the huntress, I've got one that's sort of primed and ready to go. Because it's primed now, it'd be good with lots of browns and earth tones and that kind of thing. Making that cloak a great green. Connect it back to the thing. And Gretchen's painting up the outlaw. It's got plenty of locations on it that where a lighter leather color or like a buff kind of.
It has a ton of little textural details. So I think a little bit of dry brushing to pick out some of those is gonna save my time and energy there. There is a question in the chat though about bows. And do we add the strings? And if so, what are some techniques for that? I saw if you go DN Scott.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
When painting figures with bows, crossbows, etc., which do not have bowstrings in the casting, do you add a string? And if so, what technique do you use?
I typically don't, because I feel like they're so small that if you were to see them from far away, it just like if you saw a person with a bow from far away, you wouldn't necessarily see the string. So I don't find it super necessary, but I have seen it done with fishing line, and it looked perfectly fine. Just snip a little bit of it. It's cheap and easy and glueable. Someone in the chat, Jason Sutton, says sometimes he adds string with dental floss, which is interesting. And minty. See, look, the minty.
Minty fresh.
Well, you would have come back around. I didn't expect it so quickly. Very impressive. But no, I also do not typically put bowstrings on for exactly the reason that Gretchen mentioned.
Hello. It's Sanctum calling.
Sorry. I feel like such an amateur right now.
That was someone calling to tell us we're wrong. We always add the bowstrings.
Yeah. You always add the bowstrings. I know why they do it. They don't do it in production is because, it could easily snap. And I guess even Dave in historical accurate stuff, would you not do that, or would you still want?
No, still wouldn't, because a 28mm miniature, like basically these are like 28, 32, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
Is about a 1 to 50th scale.
Mm-hmm.
So, like 50 inches, or let's say 50 millimeters in real life will be 1 millimeter on the miniature.
Gotcha.
Is that right? I think so.
I'm gonna trust your math.
Yeah. Or the other way around. So something that's 1 millimeter wide on the miniature is going to be represent something that's 50 millimeters wide in real life. So 50 millimeters is 2 inches. So if you have a very thin piece of plasticard or a thin piece of fishing wire, that kind of thing, that is 1 millimeter thick, it's going to be a bowstring that's 2 inches thick.
Gotcha.
If you got something that's 0.5 millimeter, that's still something that's 1 inch thick. Which is pretty big, so it's going to look out of place. One thing I will suggest, though, that if you do want to do it, which is totally fine, it's up to you, that hairs from old brushes, like it's the super cheap dollar brush that you can get from, like if you're going to be touching up around the corner, painting around the corners of your room before you roll it, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap dollar brushes, hairs from those can work quite well as well, because they're fairly thin. They're a lot thinner than a millimeter.
Dan Scott says, has anyone tried human hair? No.
I think there's an entire religion devoted to that. Voodoo thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Putting on your minis, yeah.
I only use other people's human hair for polyjuice potions. So.
Gotcha.
Sorry. Yeah, but no, but actually, as Dan said, human hair would work as well. And might give you the right kind of look. Because
then it's truly like a bow. Yeah.
It truly has very thin.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One of the friends in the chat said, I just got back into painting after a 6-year hiatus, starting with my Blood Rage set. So seeing fantasy style minis painted helps. Yes.
Cool. Yeah. The that Blood Rage set is very cool. There's a lot of awesome minis. I painted a whole set of that on commission 4 years ago now. 4.5, 5 years ago.
Oh, really? For a whole commission?
Yeah.
Oh, I just spilled my paint water everywhere. We're live, folks. So here's the Huntress, the picture of the Huntress. Now, Gretchen, are you... Wait, no, you're painting this guy.
I'm painting the Outlaw, who is a bunch of fun shades of beige, but I think I might... keep within the realm of that, but add a little bit of warmer touches here and there, just so that he's not so monochrome.
Okay. So what colors are you thinking that you're going to use?
I'm thinking I might use a little bit of red here and there, just maybe for the feather, and might do not like a gold red, just like a very desaturated kind of red, just to pick up on those warm sandy tones a little bit, and give a little bit more of a dynamic look to them, so that the detail doesn't get lost.
Yeah, that's fair. Someone on the Twitch chat said, I've heard a lot of good things about Sanctum, but never played. This game I think has been out for about a year, and actually right after our stream at 5 o'clock, Roll for Crit will be doing a full live playthrough solo edition of Sanctum. So if you're interested in kind of finding out more about the game playthrough, definitely stick around on the Czech Games Edition Twitch, so that you'll be able to see the full playthrough. We like to paint things, not always play things here. Maybe that can be our new motto: paint things, not play things.
Oh,
Which is
It's
all
basically like
good.
can't handle the rule. Can't hold all the rules for all the games.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Oh, also, Kat said, "Here we go. At some point, we do discuss hair." LOL.
Ah, yes.
For those of us joining, normally we like to discuss Dave's hair every once in a while.
Yeah.
In terms of how's it going? What are you painting? How's it looking?
There we go. I had a hat on earlier, so it's not going to behave.
Yeah.
It's not going to behave.
So when starting to paint a fantasy miniature like this, Dave, what are your recommendations in terms of colors to start with? Like, do you always go for the lighter first or for the darker? Right now I'm painting like this blue color on my dancers' cloth pieces.
Right. I think there are a number of different ways to do it. And I think everybody generally develops their own process.
Okay.
Some people like to paint from the inside, essentially the inside out. So you start with something that's closest to the body. So some people actually start by painting the eyes.
I feel like I should try that. I feel like that would help some of my super like complicated
Contortion work.
wrist yoga that I do when I try to not get paint everywhere.
Yep, it could help. It might help. You never know. But something I like to do. Generally, when you ask those people why do they do it that way, it's because they're painting the soul of the miniature first. And once they've got those eyes in place, they know what the personality of the miniature comes out. But then they work it out to the skin, and then the first layer of clothing, the second layer of clothing, and working their way out. So one of the advantages of doing it that way is that each layer you're doing can be put over the top of the previous layer, and there's less. You're sort of doing your correction work as you go.
Okay.
If you were, like, for example, with this the Slayer, if I was to paint his armor first, and then go back and paint the skin, if some of the skin went back over onto the armor, which is likely because of and sort of have to stick in around different areas to get to the skin, you just have to go back and do a little bit more correction work. But for this guy, I'm using a lot of GW contrast paints.
Okay.
So I'm just going for large areas first. So I started with the skin, then I went to the skin of the demon. Now I'm painting. I'm actually going back and painting everything else in a thinned down wildwood contrast paint.
Okay. This is the miniature Dave is painting, just so everyone is aware. Yep.
So pretty much everything that isn't the skin or the demon skin is getting a layer of this, the wildwood, because he's got a lot of leather on there. So the wildwood would be great for a nice sort of dark leather straps around his skin. And also for the armor plates, I can build up the silver from that dark brown. So it already has some depth in there initially. And I can come back and wash some blues into the. So
cool.
That's how I'm approaching that one. Sometimes for miniatures that have a lot of texture, I might go through and do a dry brush first, whichever sort of, if there's a surface that has a lot of texture, like a fur cloak, or if it was a fully armored knight, I'd go through and dry brush all of the silver first, because that's the messiest part. So if you're going to do a dry brush kind of model, do your dry brushing up sort of the front end, dry brushing over the top of others.
So for those of who might not know, also I'm gonna silence Gretchen. Sorry, I hear you rumbling. What is dry brushing? Kind of why would you use dry brushing maybe on a fantasy miniature as opposed to normally, we dip our brush in water, we dry it off a little bit, or maybe a lot of it, and then we use the paint.
Right. Basically, dry brushing is a technique that is great for picking out texture, for very fine details, things like fur, things like the edges of armor plates, anything that has a raised surface. An example here would be on the huntress. Oh, there we go. On her pants there, on the thighs.
Yeah.
It has a lot of texture there. So this is one where you could paint a base coat over it, and then come back with a and do a dry brush of a lighter color. Dry brush.
You can see more of her texture here.
Kind of has that like a leaf texture.
Yeah.
So dry brushing is using not using a brush with a fine point, but a brush with a larger.
I think I have one.
Of,
boop, boop, boop.
Yep. So dipping it into the color that you want to use, taking it to like a paper towel or something like that, and just brushing off most of it, so that you're left with a fairly dry brush, and then brushing that back and forth very quickly over the textured surface, and all of those highlight edges the paint will catch on those and be left on there.
I am going to try that with some of my silver, because you talked about metal, and like technically my huntress, I mean not my huntress, my dancer.
Yep.
Not painting the huntress. She has all these like silver, or what I'm going to paint as silver bell. Okay. Bells, or she has this belt here.
Jangles.
Bangles. Guys, help me out here.
I'm sure they jingle when she dances.
Yeah, she jangles. And so do you think that dry brushing would work for this texture here?
You could. I'd probably, I'll admit, I would avoid it.
Okay.
Because,
as Dave avoids it.
The reason being is that you've got those fine coins that are sort of attached there.
Okay.
But you've got flat surfaces on the other side that won't be the same color as those coins.
Yeah.
So if you were to dry brush, the chances are you'll go through and put that, like if you're doing gold, for example, you get that gold over onto the other ones. This case, it's probably best to just go through and pick those out individually with gold. So
okay,
just dot your way along.
I will do that then.
Yep. One thing that one place you could use it might be on the cloak.
Okay.
Particularly on the back, it has basically a lot of folds that are going sort of straight down, and if you were to dry brush, you dry brush across those folds to catch the edges. One thing that the dry brushing can do that's a little bit different to regularly just painting, applying your paint to the miniatures, is because it's dry paint that's catching on those edges, you can end up with like a little bit of a texture, which can look good on. The reason I mention it for metals is that, particularly for like the metals that this guy, the Slayer, is going to be wielding, heavier, darker, like cast iron kind of things have a lot of texture.
Right.
Whereas smooth, polished armor, or even like a blade like the Outlaw is wielding, wouldn't have that texture. They'd be very finely polished. So I think the blades on the Dancer would be sort of finely polished.
Gotcha.
But this guy's got a brutish axe that's going to be super nasty. So dry brushing will leave a cool texture on that metal finish. It's a great one when we're talking about fantasy miniatures. Dry brushing is great for chainmail.
Gotcha.
So if you start with black and dry brush a silver over the top, chainmail's done.
And then you're done your chainmail. None of these guys are wearing chainmail.
No.
Mostly leather.
Who needs armor? It's fine.
Yeah. Leathers and plates and a bit of scale mail going on the Slayer here.
And just an overview of Sanctum, you choose a hero, and then you are playing through different hordes of demons, hence why the Slayer has a demon that he is standing on. so that then you can ultimately defeat the demon lord. So you kind of make your way through this. It's like a hero's journey, and they have these different maps that you use depending on how many players you have. And so what we're painting is the character that you would choose at the beginning of the game to have for the rest of the game, which is always fun. It's not, these, as Dave said, come with a colored plastic, but it is always fun to paint your miniatures and kind of give them their own personal.
Yeah, put your own personal stamp.
Flavor.
Someone in the chat said, have you already covered priming techniques? I use an airbrush to prime. What are your preferred methods? We
have not covered priming techniques. My preferred method is a spray can, so spray primer. I typically use Chaos Black and Corax White from Games Workshop. I've used them for a long time, and I'm really very comfortable with how they work. I have used the Vallejo hobby primers that are also good. And when I want to use a color, spray color, I generally go for the Army Painter spray colors. So if I was painting a whole army in like blood red, there's a spray can for that. So you can get most of the work done with a colored spray can. Using an airbrush, though, gives you all those colored options as well. So,
that's nice.
And generally, you can be more focused, particularly if you've got a great setup. You can be more focusing, so you're not sort of outside with a big sheet of cardboard and all of your miniatures sitting on it, just waiting to be blown away. But you can be sitting down at a little spray booth and go to town.
Yeah, that does sound nice.
Yep.
I know it's not conventional, but I actually used a white paint for my primer that is just called the Gold Line White by Army Painter. And it's not perfect, but it definitely helps at least give some sort of texture for the paint, other mini paint to hold on to.
Yeah.
For this one, I don't actually have primer at home. Typically, they get primed in the studio. My favorite primer is Johnny. But for today, because the mini I chose was so light, I just kind of slapped some of it, not even a pure white. I used bone white. Kind of see, not really, there's a bright light. That's okay. So I just kind of very quickly put that over it, almost dry brushed it over. Just so that whenever I go to paint, it actually made it easier to see all of the different details.
Yeah.
But I'm not having any trouble with the paint sticking. They're sticking right on. So
oh, good. Jason Sutton says, I Zenithal Prime with Rattle Cans. Ryan says, my preferred spray can, but because of ease/cost at the moment, I've been painting the primer on the miniature. And then Josh Potter says, I prime my minis by dunking them in a bucket of used motor oil and then rolling them in a box of sand for texture. I would not recommend this, folks.
Imagine that, Josh. That's Josh's excuse. That's what he's saying.
Nice. Also, hello, all. Todd here, aka Cody from summer camp.
Oh, hey, castmate. Hi. Glad you could join us.
Fun.
They've been following along with all of the horror movie shenanigans.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Cool.
It is. So I know that you probably haven't done a lot, but would you mind showcasing kind of what you've been working on so far?
Yeah. So I actually got done further than I thought I was gonna.
That's right. We're master painters.
Yeah, we are. We are. So, and you'll have to forgive the lighting's actually better than it has been.
Yeah, it's all good.
So you can see that I've started to pick out different elements with the color scheme. So the main colors, I'm going to use this kind of blackish color. It's not going to be pure black. It's going to be a very dark brown for the boots and for the hat. And then I'll probably pick his belt out with it too. So you get that nice balance with that very dark color. And then I'm going to use more of a medium tone for his bracers and for his capelet, not quite the cape. There's a more hefty bit there, whatever it's doing. And then I'm going to pick out red for the highlights on the cape as well as his feather. So I think that'll balance out very nicely with the colors and give your eye a nice direction to look at for the mini and without being overwhelming. So,
nice. And what colors are you using right now?
Well, so for just the basics of where I wanted there to be leather tones, I put on some skeleton horde from the contrast because I didn't want anything too thick. I just wanted to kind of block out what I was doing. And then currently I have a mix because I don't actually have a lot of browns in my palette. So I'm getting into some color theory here, but I have black, red, and I did about 3 parts black, red with 1 part of the dark sea blue. And that is what got that very dark brownish color for the darker bits that you see on here.
Cool.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's not a pure brown, but I tend to go over everything with sepia shade. So
that's always good. All right, and now Dave.
Yep.
How far have you come along in your painting of the
Slayer? There we go. I got the worst cam ever because all of the lights are behind. So
we keep him in a dungeon till he's needed.
Silhouette show.
We do.
So there we go. So I've got all of the wildwood on the leathers and the armor plates, that kind of thing. I've just used some snakebite leather from the what do you call it? The contrast range for his hair. So I decided to go for something a little bit lighter and so a slightly different tone there rather than continuing that dark hair all the way through, those dark colors. So now I can go back in and start picking out the metals. So I'll pick out those plates and can start to put some blue on them. And then I think that demon is sort of begging for a little bit of attention. It's got red at the moment. Let me get that.
Hey Dave, how do you know when a demon's begging for attention?
There are lots of different ways. So this one, it has its mouth open, going like, I want attention! That's the one I'm going to go for right now.
Nice. It's a good time.
Yes. I might need to turn my phone back on and take a photo and send it to you.
Yeah, you should. I would like that.
Okay, we'll get one of it where it's at the moment.
Right.
Move some other models out of the way.
Right now, I've just painted the blue. It's funny because it almost looks like I didn't paint it because that's her original plastic color. But I actually have. And I was trying to go through and do some highlights and then also shadow work with the fabric of this gal's robe water thing. The dancer, she has some fabric that also looks like water. I actually really thought it was water, and then I looked at the picture, and it's just fabric. It's okay. We're in a fantasy world.
Yeah. It could very well be.
The Slayer, apparently, his people are the keepers of old stories. They knew this time would come. Trained from birth, bound by destiny, the Slayer is sent to defeat the evil.
That's a lot of pressure.
But I'm sure he can handle it.
Yeah.
I suspect that he's got a one-track mind.
Trained from birth, so
he's not ready to deviate. Not willing to deviate from the mission, which is to slay the demons.
The dancer, she is King 𝙀𝙖𝙢𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 elder sister. 10 years ago, she escaped his assassins and found refuge among the battle dancers. Oh, that's right. Now fully trained, she returns to claim the throne. I appreciate this.
Yep. Nice.
Battle dancers.
And then I know the battle dancers. I'm all about this. I really hope that Roll for Crit in his playthrough picks the dancer, because then he will be a battle dancer. Please, if you continue to watch at 5 p.m., make sure you say, play the battle dancer. Also, the outlaw, he was a guardsman who dared to speak against King 𝙀𝙖𝙢𝙀𝙀𝙀's rule. His sentence was death by poison. Somehow he survived. Tormented by the foulness in his veins, he seeks a cure in the ruins of Sanctum. Nice.
Wow.
Excellent.
Oh, here's a...
Yelling at the baby, you are the chosen one. Prepare yourself. I appreciate that. Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, Spider-Man says, hey guys, what techniques, mental or technical, do you use to tackle the army of gray, assuming you have some unpainted minis staring at you from a shelf, waiting for their return?
Oh.
It's incredibly important to think of the shelf as a shelf of opportunity.
That is our catchphrase around
mantra.
Here.
Yeah.
Yes. It is not the shelf of shame. It's the shelf of opportunity.
Opportunity.
There's always an opportunity waiting for you.
Yep.
I just use unfinished projects to procrastinate on other projects.
See, that's a good way to do it. Yeah, if you know you have to clean the house because your parents are coming,
then you paint minis instead.
Perfect. There's lots of different things, but one thing I would suggest is have a look at your schedule, try and work out a time in the day or in the evening, whenever it happens to be, where you can sit down and paint for half an hour. And maybe leave your stuff set up so that it doesn't take you 10 minutes to get it out, 10 minutes of painting and 10 minutes to pack it up. But yeah, just paint for half an hour and do that regularly. So do that 5 days out of 7. And get in the habit of painting. And then when you're in the habit of painting, everything else seems much easier. So tackling a squad of Space Marines or painting up the 4 heroes from Sanctum becomes a lot easier if you're used to painting all the time. You don't worry so much about what colors you're going to choose or what techniques you're going to use. You can just sort of settle in and relax. So that's what I would recommend. And now I will send these photos to the owner.
Oh, cool. Yeah, someone said Dave has written a book about painting in your army, which is very true.
It's true, I did write a book.
Where is it?
Have you got
I have it.
No!
I can't find it. I have it, guys.
Somewhere.
I have a copy just over there, but I don't want to have to get up and...
That's fair.
But, yes.
But as you said, I think it's important, especially if it's a project stuff you really do want to get finished, not just kind of give to friends or something.
Yeah.
You want to set aside time to do that and just do a little bit each day. Even these Sanctum miniatures, there is only 4, which is really nice. But if you might not be in the practice of painting, that still might seem really daunting.
Oh,
but
yeah.
definitely just taking time to do one, working out one.
Yep.
And then don't be afraid to go back in and even change some stuff that you've painted if you end up not liking it the way that it turned out. initially?
Actually, there was a miniature in it was presented in the Painting Happy Little Minis group. It was a bust, and it was the artist's first bust that they'd done, and it was of an orc warrior woman, and it was really beautifully done. Great, vibrant green skin.
Yeah.
And they're asking for suggestions and comments, and I suggested that possibly pushing some deep red into the shadows would be good. And he said, "Oh yeah, I kind of thought about that, but I didn't want to sort of screw up what I'd done." And I was like, "It does look great." It's one of those things where you can come back to it in 6 months' time, or come back to it in a year's time, once you're comfortable with using red as a shade for green, and just push some little bits of red into it and adjust it. So no miniature ever has to be completely finished, because you can always come back and do something a little bit different. But yeah, I like that idea that you can always refresh, rework, build on your skills.
I don't know if you can see, but I've been adding some gold onto my lady's
cool.
dancing belt.
I do like, as much as I think silver and blue look really pretty, I appreciate the warmth of gold next to light blues.
Yeah, it was funny. Dave had said it, and I was like, I was just going to do silver, because I agree, I'm blue silver girl. But now I'm really liking the gold.
But I'm thinking she is King Urich's elder sister.
She is. She's a princess.
I mean, you could do silver, but make it platinum. That'd be the next step up, I guess. But yeah, gold. Gold
is the way to go.
Gold has a richness to it.
Josh Potter says, I found that my biggest hurdle to work on figures is cleaning mold lines and priming. After that, I'm golden. Did some quick, fun painting on cheap 𝙬𝙧𝙞𝙀𝙀 ogres, block and wash, good enough for gaming. Probably won't do any highlights, but we'll base them. Just study pieces, really.
Yep.
Those are important too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think people get so caught up in having each and every mini they do be this perfect piece of artwork. But like, doing for funsies non-stress minis are very important. I think some of my most non-stress minis, where I'm just like, I'm going to do whatever, actually end up being some of my better minis because I'm relaxed. Like,
yeah.
I'm not as, I'm like, nah, it's fine. And then it ends up being nice. And I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's definitely good.
That is very true.
I'm gonna find...
Oh, and Kat says, with terrain, we can paint and repaint until we like it. With minis, do you recommend stripping it before repainting to maintain details?
I personally don't do a lot of stripping of miniatures.
Okay.
But also, at the same time, I paint a lot of minis, so I very rarely do any sort of repainting. But you could do a lot of you could strip them in between. I think if it's a miniature that you're practicing on, or you're working on getting a color scheme, I'd be more inclined to pick up some of the sort of cheaper miniatures, like the
𝙬𝙧𝙀𝙀𝙀,
the bones, that kind of thing, and just not think about that miniature as whatever it happens to be. Think about it as a place to test your color schemes.
Okay.
So that's I think that's typically what I do. If you have metal miniatures are easier to strip than plastic miniatures, because they typically won't dissolve in the solvents. But yeah, I think it sort of always comes down to what the individual artist wants to try.
Well, and it seems like you're saying that it might be a little bit difficult to strip a plastic miniature
it can
of
be.
its paint. So if you can just kind of buy in bulk with some of the
The it can be tough. You might find a solution that works for you, and you can use that all the time. But
oh yeah, I almost forgot. I have this really cool trailer for Sanctum. Do you guys want to see it?
oh, yes,
I do.
cool.
Here.
I want to see my Slayer in action.
Oh yeah. Well, for some reason it didn't send me. It didn't send it to me.
Are you saying you don't have it now?
Oh, I thought you meant your photos. Did you send me the photos?
I sent you the photos.
Okay, that's what I meant. Everyone, get ready for this cool trailer. Can end it. Okay. So, what did you think?
That was cool.
It was lovely.
I like the way that the dancer danced in and was like, "Whew, I'm ready." And the hunter just ran in and was like, "I'm ready." And the outlaw sort of snuck in and went, "I'm ready." And then the
Slayer.
Slayer was like, "Oh. Okay, guys, I'm here."
You know, when you have weaponry and stuff, sometimes it takes a little while.
Sometimes it just takes you a while to get there.
Yeah.
Judging him, Dave.
Oh, 𝙂𝙖𝙢𝙤
Oh, no,
says,
I was saying that he was just like I would have been.
Gotcha. Tired.
Yep. And out of breath.
He's like, I was born for this.
I am the most powerful barbarian.
𝙂𝙖𝙢𝙢 says, that was totally wicked, which I appreciate the Incredibles reference.
You know.
Oh, yeah. Ryan says, I like that they stayed plastic through the trailer, which I agree.
Yeah, that was
cool.
Definitely good.
I did enjoy that. What were you going to say, Gretchen?
I lost my train of thought. I was like, yeah, it is cool that they stay plastic.
That's fine.
I'm an easily distractible person.
Jason Sutton says, I buy a batch of M4 minis to try new paints and such on, and then he gets like some dwarves for about $15.
Okay.
Which you can totally,
yep,
I recommend doing in terms of all right, so we are around the hour mark, so I want it at the 30-minute mark. We kind of had a check-in. Let's do another check-in to see what we've all have accomplished. And let me see if I can get Dave's photos. They haven't sent to me.
I sent them to you on Facebooks. Oh, they didn't go?
No. All right, Gretchen, take it away.
I'm ready. All right, so on the front, you can't really see much of a change other than like some more color blocking going on. But on the back, it looks really nice. So I like how it's kind of a darker red, right? Yeah. And then whenever I get the leather painted on here, I think it'll pop really, really nicely. And I really like how it plays off of the hat and the feather. So those I think all came out very nice. I'm nitpicking back and forth. Like I like how his pants came out. You can't like super tell.
Yeah, they look great. Yeah.
But I keep going back and forth on what color I want his main shirt to be, his tunic. So I had it like a grayish color, and now I'm like, maybe I want to do it more red brown.
Should we have the chat?
Chat. What color tunic should the outlaw have?
Can you lift it up the color options? Yeah. Or yeah, show us the.
Yeah, so here's the mini. My color options are not a lot of browns. So I can mix a very muddy kind of brown. And I have the tan of the contrast paints, but that's a much different texture. So I don't know if it'll actually show up quite as strongly as the other paints. It might end up being a little out of place if I just do the contrast of the skeleton horde. But I can mix several tans and browns. So I can, if you give me a color, I have the tools to probably mix it within parameters of that color. I'm gonna be confident with my mixing prowess. I'm gonna say that I can mix whatever color.
Can do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Well, I didn't realize I had as many oranges, so now I'm feeling a lot more confident. I'm like,
oh, true.
Orange is on the path to brown.
Yeah.
And for those at home wondering how to mix brown, usually you mix two opposite colors on the color wheel, and then you add other colors based on where you want the hue to go. So you won't necessarily get like a pure like burnt umber or anything, because those are very difficult and kind of why they have it in the core group of mixing.
Yeah.
But you can get natural colors out of it. So
awesome.
So yeah.
We have a friend in the chat who said Jason says dark emerald green to stay away from the reds and the browns.
That's because they know I have green.
So if you have an idea of what should Gretchen's outlaw shirt color be, put it in the chat now, because we will.
It's a very, very, very small dragon. All good.
I have lots of green.
On our previous episode, Gretchen was painting a green dragon, so Jason knows.
He's here.
Oh, there he is.
And he has more, yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yep.
Maybe that's
belly done.
He almost looks like the dragon, sort of, on Sanctum's box, but
it's the same color scheme, because teal and emerald green are just wonderful colors.
Spider-Man was saying, I was thinking a salmon/pink to go along with the yellow.
Okay, that's definitely in the realm of mixing. We got that.
Josh Potter says a cool color to push against the warms, maybe a green or turquoise.
I like the idea of a deep turquoise.
Yeah. And
Turquoise,
then Wacky says, ooh, I believe to your dragon. Dave, what is your opinion?
I think I'm kind of agreeing with the cooler colors, so the green, the turquoise.
All right, let's go with the dark, deep turquoise. I have one of those ready, and that way I can pick out some of those little highlight bits too.
Yep.
I think that'll look very nice, like kind of a little bit desaturated to go with the desaturated red.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Sounds good.
And Dave, I am getting your photos right now.
Woot.
Here we are. All right, so this is where Dave is, or was, in the past.
Yep.
Dave is currently painting the Slayer in the Sanctum box, and this is just a little mid-show check-in to see what he's been doing so far.
Make sure we're actually working, doing our job.
Yeah. Rather than just pretending.
You just pretend paint for 2 hours.
Yeah, the whole show.
Like that forever. Look at that. I'm painting over here. Pretend painting.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Pretend paint behind my head. There we go. I actually painted this miniature earlier today. So I'm all good to go. I can pretend paint for the rest of the episode.
Nice. So did you want to talk about some of the colors that you've used so far?
Sure. So on the base there, I have 2 lights on my table at my desk here. One of them is a hot light daylight globe, and the other is a CFL globe, but it definitely has a yellowish tinge to it. So that's a yellowish cast to that photo.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So at the moment, that demon, when that photo was taken, that demon was just using the blood angels red, sorry, contrast paint from GW over there. But that yellow hint from the light makes it look like it's got a lot of orange in it there, but it doesn't really. I'm going to go back with some deeper reds and I think some purple to shade some of that demon skin. The rest of the leathers and the wood and all the metalwork there is all wildwood contrast paint. The skin is Fire Slayer flesh.
Nice.
And and some of the skin has been highlighted by mixing 2 Privateer Press paints. 2 of my favorites are Rim Flesh and Idrian Flesh. So Idrian Flesh is a nice sort of soft brown sort of color, and the Rim Flesh is a very pale sort of Caucasian flesh color. So working on those for any areas. When we were talking about priming before, somebody mentioned zenithal priming with Rattle Cans.
Yes.
That's what I've done with this one. So I primed the whole model black and then hit it from an angle above, so probably like a 30-degree angle above, with white primer. So that leaves some shadows, things like underneath the arm, underneath the pecs, underneath the muscles and that sort of thing are all black. So sometimes I'll go back in with a darker flesh color and paint over the black there.
Very nice.
Going on with this guy. But now I've got to the point where I've painted all the bits that need to be silver. They're all painted silver. And through giving them a very thin wash with, so the silver I use is gunmetal from the Army Painter. And I'm giving them a thin glaze, really, I guess. So just taking some dark Prussian blue from Vallejo and thinning it down on my palette, glazing it over the top.
Yeah. I went kind of ham with the washes today, and I don't know if you can, my camera could zoom. There we go. You can kind of see I've created, just by using a wash, I created that color underneath of the gold.
Yeah.
On her, and right now I'm going back and picking out that gold again.
Right. That's looking good.
So I'm excited how it's turning out. Much better than I had expected, folks. Oh, Ryan says, just like a cooking show, you have one of those finished minis painted aside for the end of the video.
Yep.
We've thought about doing that. Do you want to ask Jeff's question?
Oh yeah, I was thinking, I was like, what am I doing a thing? What colors am I using? I am using Vallejo. And I have them like all right here set up. And I'm also using the game color.
Oh, okay.
So like some model color paints and some game color.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can't. The light is too bright. I can't show you the exact colors. But I'm using a combination of Vallejo Dark Sea Blue, and I'm using the game color Foul Green and Jade Green, and then Vallejo Flat Green, and then a little bit of livery green as well. Lots of greens. But the shadows are more focusing on that bluey kind of teal color. And then as you get to those bright highlights to make it seem like it's glowing is when you start getting into the more neon-y greens. Which I think is the best way I can try to describe that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad people like the dragon. It's coming along. I did say on chat that I would give it away whether it was good or bad. But when I originally, since I was trying out different things with it, I was like, well, you know, if it's bad, I'll give it away. And if it's good, I'll give it away. And if it's mediocre, then best of both. And if it's mediocre, I'll keep it. Ha ha ha. So
you're deliberately making it mediocre?
no, I'm hoping it comes out lovely. Though the fact that so many people were still interested in it if it was horrible was also very funny to me.
It's not going to be horrible though. It's going to be awesome.
So we'll see how it comes out.
So would you guys like to look at some miniatures
Oh yeah.
from our group?
I'd love to look at miniatures.
That'd be awesome.
So for those new watching, we are painting Happy Little Minis. We're happy while we're painting minis, and also that's the name of our show. On Facebook, we have a Painting Happy Little Minis group where people who enjoy miniature painting and miniature hobby in general can come and showcase the work that they've been working on, whether it's a work in progress or a finished project. And then throughout the week, I collect some of those photos and then we talk about them on the show. So if you enjoy painting miniatures, definitely head over to Facebook and be part of that group. We will click to add you to join. And it's just a fun time where people can kind of chat about what works and what doesn't. But right now on our show, we take some time to look at the miniatures that people have posted. So that's what we're going to do. And then we'll get back to our Sanctum minis. All right.
Let's see.
First, we have Michael Bull with a Pathfinder Battles WizKids range miniature.
Excellent. And I think that might be an eagle.
Yes, it is an eagle.
That looks awesome. Really nice day. Nice work there, Michael. And one of my favorite things whenever I see a painted eagle is when people have picked out rows of feathers or put some extra detailing into the feathers.
Yeah.
Obviously, the miniature has so many feathers, but it's that extra detail that just breaks up the surface, breaks up all those feathers. But yeah, looking really nice, Michael. I love the basing too. Giving a very natural feel.
Another part. I feel like that's a whole extra step sometimes.
All basing, definitely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Then we have Orion with oh boy, you're gonna have to pronounce it.
The Sanguinary Guard.
Sanguinary Guard. The Blood Guard? The Blood Guard?
They're from the Blood Angels.
Okay. Hence Sanguinary.
Sanguinary, yeah. So all of the masks that they're wearing are like death masks.
Gotcha.
But yeah, these guys are all painted in gold. Those lovely white angel wings, ready to descend and cut people apart with those power swords. But no, they're looking great. I think I'm loving the details on the power swords.
Yeah.
But really nice sort of crackling detail. I think those red shoulder pads are really popping nicely. Looking great. But yeah, just in general, fantastic work, Orion.
Good job.
Yeah, they look awesome.
We have Chris Gorka with the 327th Star Corps. Look at these tufts.
I know. I'm just like, that is an alien planet.
Yes, yes, indeed. An alien planet or an 80s nightclub. But
oh, apparently there is a lag. I apologize for people if there is a lag for you.
No, I'm sorry. But yeah, this is looking cool. I think, and Chris has probably painted all of the Star Wars models a couple of times by now. And I love this scheme, that sort of yellow, almost ochre kind of color. It's looking very cool. Nice work. And
even some of the scuff marks on the plates, I am enjoying that right now.
Yep, looking really good. Nice work, Chris.
Good job. We have Matthew with a Monster Apocalypse monster.
Ooh, Monpark. We painted these guys. We got them from Gen Con 2 years ago, didn't we? Was it 2 years? Or was it last year?
It was last year. No, it wasn't. It was 2 years ago.
See, I don't remember painting those.
I love Monster Apocalypse minis. I think they're great.
Yep, they are cool. And Matthew's gone with one of my favorite schemes to mention on the stream, the blue and the orange.
Yes.
But yeah, looking good. I like the alternating panels on the head there. So the bone and the orange, looking very cool.
I'm really enjoying. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but you can kind of see some of the highlighting.
Right.
Matthew did, and it's just very well placed.
I think that kind of gives a as part of that gives a bit of a reflected light feel. So there's an extra bit of light being bounced off a building or a car or something like that in the city of Monster Apocalypse, the city that is strange. But yeah, it looks great. Very nice work.
Great job. We have Robert with a Warhammer 40k orc.
Excellent.
I love how colorful.
Yeah.
I love when people get really vibrant and saturated with their colors.
I feel like Robert is really good at that.
Yeah. One of the things, I mean, he's awesome with rusts and sort of decay and textured metals and that kind of thing. So you can see that on the base and a little bit coming up onto the staff there. But yeah, the separation in the blue and the red and the green is all awesome. It's just really nicely balanced by the desaturated metals and the black and grays there. But yeah, looking awesome.
And look, he's holding a demon head too.
Oh no, that's a squig.
Oh.
That's a pet.
It's his pet. Maybe that's the Slayer's pet. The Slayer in your mini, it's the demon's just his pet. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, the squigs are all like basically teeth and legs.
Cool.
Yeah.
So basically, like every other pet I've had.
Teeth and legs. Oh my god. Here's Roger Moore with Drow Duelist and a Drow Wizard from the Legend of Drizzt, which I believe Roger has been working on for many months now.
He works a bit on it. He goes off to another project. He comes back.
Yeah.
Back and forth. But
great.
Yeah, good. But we do have to get him close to the end.
In the same way that we've been working on the same project over the course of a couple weeks, I feel like I've been on the journey with Roger. Yeah, for sure.
No, it's definitely been good. I particularly like the wizard there.
This guy?
Yeah. With the purples and golds.
Yeah.
It's looking very cool.
Some really nice gold trim here.
Yeah.
I wonder, maybe I could see it if I were really zoom in. I think his eyes are
all red,
which works well against the gold.
Yep, definitely cool. I think my favorite of the duelists is the one just to our right of the wizard with the silver and blue. Yeah.
Yep.
But nice work, Roger. I'm good.
Oh, I see a query in the chat. Do you want to ask that now, or we'll wait till we're done with the miniatures?
Oh, yes. There we go. Roger says he's got one left to go.
He has one left. Everyone, one left to go.
Yep. Cool.
Laura with a ballad. Boy.
I'm not
from
sure.
The Elusive from Dragon Hunters.
Zoom in.
Baldassar. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
All right. Baldassar.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Looking awesome. Again, the purple and gold. It's the great wizard colors, aren't they?
Right.
And gold. They're awesome.
They're very royal. And I do associate purple magically. I'm like, purple's a magic color.
Yeah. That's why it's so tough to paint. For me, at least. I'm not magic.
Yeah.
I'm a muggle. But
I like to mix it.
But no, looking awesome there. The dragon's looking very cool too.
I'm really loving the texture that Laura got on the scales here.
Yeah.
It looks like it was just kind of brushed on, but I like it. It feels almost like a turtle or something.
Yeah. No, it does. It definitely looks cool. Really loving that one. Nice work, Laura.
Good job. Lex with a young red dragon. And then another guy.
The other guy.
Look at that dude.
Dun dun.
Very cool.
Another purple.
Yeah. Looking
Purple
good.
must be the theme this week.
Yeah. But the
I do love it when everyone coordinates by accident.
yeah. Let's see the dragon. Yeah, the dragon's looking really cool. I'm loving the kind of the depth of the contrast there. You've got around the shoulders. You've got really great shadows sort of being pushed in there, Lex. Looking really nice, and that underbelly is great. It's not a stark white or anything like that. It's very sort of natural kind of color.
Oh, Spider-Man said it. I think it's the Warlock from the WizKids range, which I believe you are correct.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, very cool. But no, looking really good, Lex. Nice work.
And I believe they said that was one of the biggest minis they've painted, which...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
As someone who's painted this mini, it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely a sense of accomplishment.
I literally have it right here. It's always with me.
Is that the one? That's the one that I made a galaxy dragon.
Yes.
Yep.
We also have 1-inch heroes with WizKids Town Guards, which, fun fact about this, Drew had said these were on his table for a really long time. And then he just finally was like, I'm gonna
get them done.
Gonna get them done.
Yep. Yeah, they look great. Yeah, very cool.
His table of opportunity.
Yeah, that's what my desk is. Someone disagrees. Some would say it's messy, but no, they look fantastic. I think I love that just that sort of pop of saturated blue.
Yeah.
Against the desaturated browns and grays. But it's an interesting thing there with that sort of very bright hair on the guard on the left. It's if you compare the blues, I'm sure the blues were painted sort of in the same way between these. But because her hair is so much brighter, I think it dulls it sort of pushes that blue back a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't seem as bright or as intense as the guy on the right.
The reflection is really strong on right, or maybe the shine of the.
Yep.
I love this main chainmail.
Right. Yeah. No.
Looking good.
The highlight on my chainmail's nice. Yeah.
Yep. Good job.
Good job. All right, we have Matt with an Undead Beholder. He had talked about how his party will not be so very happy to see this.
I think even a living beholder they wouldn't be very happy to see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But this one's undead.
Yep. It's going to be harder to kill. You have to burn it. Burn it. But no, looking good. Looking very cool. I think
I'm liking the opaque eyes.
Yeah. Just that sort of blind zombie kind of feeling to it. But yeah, I think that's the sort of the key element to it. But it looks good, and all these spell effects. But looking very cool. Nice work.
We have Dwayne with Galadriel's Mirror. My first attempt at marble.
Yeah, that marble's looking really nice on the top there, Dwayne. So this mini is it's probably like that tall.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah. So this, I think this is the, I could be wrong, but I think this is the one from Games Workshop. So Galadriel, it would be a sort of a 25, 28 mil, sort of not heroic proportions, sort of much more true scale sort of proportions.
Okay.
But yeah, so this piece would be tiny, but the marble work on the top there underneath the bowl is looking awesome.
Yeah.
Very. It's not like sometimes painting marble can be tough because you have a tendency to go. People have a tendency to go overboard with it, make the veins a little bit too dark or a little bit too stark.
Yeah.
I think Dwayne's done a great job here,
Keeping it very realistic as to what, as you said, you don't. When they're not so sharp, it really helps create that marbly, watery, like they're kind of mixing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Great job. Oh, I'm having trouble moving on. Okay.
Is that the last one?
No, it shouldn't be. I think I have a couple more.
Okay.
Let me.
We'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it, folks.
Excellent.
So if you guys wanted to see how the teal looks,
Yeah.
I think he looks very nice in teal. That's a very nice color choice.
Yeah, very. I think it's good because we've got a very nice deep kind of look. Yeah. Looking good.
Yeah. Good choices, chat room. Good
It is
job.
good. And for those of you who might have just been joining us, we are painting miniatures from Sanctum, which is a game by Czech Games Edition, right here.
Excellent.
And I am painting the dancer, Gretchen is painting the outlaw, and Dave is painting the slasher.
Slayer.
Slayer. Why cannot I? Slayer. Yes.
So before we go any further, there was that question.
Yes, let's answer that question. That's such a good point.
Hey,
David.
Just want to say, hey, David, how you doing? David
Welcome.
used to work at Games Workshop a long time ago.
Oh, awesome. Have you had any paint issues with the different types of materials that some of the models are being made of, i.e. resin, GW plastics, etc.?
Typically, I haven't had too much of a problem with most, certainly like most 28 mil sort of size miniatures, particularly priming them first. Once you get the spray primer on, it's gonna be fine. I have on larger resin models occasionally had a situation where they haven't fully cured, and sometimes there's still a sweating effect, or there's some moisture leaking that repels paint. It sounds terrible, and sometimes it is, but it's generally not as bad as it sounds. So you got to wash your resin models with soapy water, or you can give them a quick scrub with simple green or something like that, and that will generally get rid of most of the mold release, which can sometimes cause some problems with paint. But it's only very rarely that I've had an issue. I did have a fantastic one where even after letting it sit and dry, and it was dry to the touch and it wasn't shiny, I primed it with black, and then I sprayed a gold over the top, and I could actually push it, like the paint sort of started to slough off the bottle.
Oh.
It was quite disturbing, really. Yeah, so I just stripped the model back and dried it out and wiped it down with other sort of drying agents to try and pull that out. But yeah, it was quite distressing when that happened.
Yeah.
I'll show you the video sometime soon. Or I might put a video up in the group so that people can check it out. But generally, David, not really. Once if it's resin, give it a wash. If it's plastic, like all of these are a PVC plastic, they're kind of a little bit harder, but yeah, the primer took to them perfectly, so they're all good.
In general, you just say like, give them a little wash, and then make sure they're decently primed.
Yeah. And if you are having problems with them, where we've primed them and sometimes the primer is coming off, stop, go through, take as much of the primer off as you can, wash them, go back with primer. But generally, I've really only found that you need to do that with resin. Because, typically with plastics, so with hard plastics like Games Workshop's sprues with plastic are injection molded on a machine that's pumping out thousands of them a minute.
Right.
PVC is probably done on aluminum molds or like hard plastic molds sometimes.
Okay.
And again, they're done typically without mold release. So you generally don't find it too much on the plastics, but yeah, for the resins, give them a wash.
Give them a wash.
Wash. And I don't mean like give them a layer of like Nuln Oil or anything like that, but actually just scrub them a little bit.
Dave says thanks.
You're welcome, Dave.
No problem. No problem. All right. Gretchen, where are you in painting our dear outlaw?
And painting our dear outlaw?
Wow, he's really coming along.
Yeah, I'm going pretty quick. So he has all of his colors on him, except for that tombstone there. And some highlights on his weapon. I'll probably end up sending, do you want me to just send you a picture so that you can see him better? Or?
Yeah, sure.
I really, really like how the back of his cloak turned out. It looks really nice. I still need to pick out some highlights on that. But maybe I'll get them done in the time. If I'm really lucky, I will be able to properly have a finished product.
He will look beautiful. He will find the disease a cure, excuse me, for his disease that he has. That's his backstory.
That is his backstory. I'm going to actually move him this way so that he's not backlit.
Oh, Ryan says, sadly, I have to head out. Have a nice day. Bye, Ryan.
Bye, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for joining us and tuning in. I do have the other miniatures loaded. Would you like to see them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do it, and I'll send you pics.
Awesome. All right, so these are the other miniatures that were from our group, Painting Happy Little Minis. You should join if you aren't a part of Painting Happy Little Minis on Facebook. People post miniatures there, and these are the ones that I've collected throughout the week. So John says, the spiders in my studio are getting out of hand, which I thought was very clever. Because I really thought
because I thought that was a real spider.
I thought it was a real spider too, and then I was like, "Why did he put that?"
I would not be able to paint those minis at all. I would be so terrified.
Put a thumbs up in the chat if you thought this was a real spider, just like I did. I don't know what about this photo. It really makes it look like a real spider.
It's because it's painted. It's the right size for those little wolf spiders.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's vaguely furry, like them, and it's the right color. And it's the way the sculpt is positioned, it looks like it might be like a dead spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just the way that the legs are.
He's definitely framed it perfectly. I thought it was a real spider as well. But at the same time,
good, it's not just me.
They're not getting out of hand. That's tiny.
No.
Tiny spider. You need to go to Australia, John.
That was me sending Leona better non-super duper saturated pictures of my outlaw so that my lighting doesn't.
And somehow I've gone and lost my gold. Oh well.
Lost your gold.
There it is. Found it.
But yeah, I enjoyed this. Good job, John.
Yep.
You got me. And it looks like other people in the chat agree. It looks like a real spider. We have Andrew with a Necromancer by Reaper.
Oh, cool.
I really like the way that Andrew kind of made this tan-y orange.
Right.
For the bone features on this Necromancer's outfit. I think it contrasts well or pairs nicely with sort of her skin tone. The sickly skin.
Could you zoom in a bit on it for me?
Yeah, where would you like?
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, can you zoom in a little bit more?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. The
on her?
Yeah, I was getting a sense of like blue.
Oh, okay.
Working with that I wonder if, like, with the on the shoulders there, that the color you were pointing out. It's just working well with that feeling of blue from the cloak and the hair. But look up close, the cloak is a bit more purple.
Yeah, it's purple.
Which it also works with that, but
and I think the purple works more with the stone up here.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Red.
Yeah. But no, looking good.
Nice.
It's kind of being lifted up by the skeleton. That she's summoning.
The skeleton horde that she's summoning.
Yep. Looking good.
Oh, yeah. David built some more drones for models.
Oh, you haven't shown the drones though.
These aren't the drones?
There was another picture, wasn't there? Yeah, with the drones.
I thought these were the drones.
No. These are the stealth suits.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, one of the things I think David's gone for with this is that the color scheme for his Tau army is going to be that sort of that purplish gray and the purple.
Okay.
And these stealth suits have active camouflage on them. So rather than it being painted as a camouflage pattern, you can just go click and whatever basically there'll be like a predator. They'll disappear into the background.
Yeah.
But also walking along on that that sort of yellowish ochre ground that is coming up over the suit.
Gotcha.
So see that there's that little white line, that thin white line?
Yep.
That David's painted in there. So that's that layer of the active camouflage coming across to sort of overtake the thing. So, and that's the grouping on the right as we're looking at it. Yep, you see the leg of the one in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's got it going up the leg. So it's there's a different place on each model that's got that active camouflage going on.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's a really.
I was wondering why that was happening.
Why that was happening? Yeah. What was going on? But yeah, that's what that is. It looks really good. And the two models at the front with the blue there, I bet you that blue, if we were to look at the rest of his army, the leaders for each of the units would have that blue stripe on their.
Gotcha.
I betcha.
Also, Chris says hello. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for joining. We also have Cornish Mikey, a Reaper tool, the steampunk aquanaut in a teacup. Why not?
This is wild.
Yeah, I thought this, and they had said something about like, this is a base because why not?
I like it. I have a teacup collection, and now I want to just like plop minis in it and be like, this is fun.
I think it's cool, and particularly for a steampunk model where you've got that high Victorian kind of feel. It's popping into a very fancy teacup, not just any teacup, but a very fancy one. Yeah, it looks great. That's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, Cornish Mikey.
I like this one. It shows you can be fun with your mini.
Whimsical.
And then we have a little less whimsical. Joshua Mushel with Knight.
That's whimsical in its own way.
A different type of whimsy.
Yeah.
The Death Knight, which he 3D printed.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's looking really neat. I think that the shield, it's got a great sort of flow from that shield over the top of the model, like over the I guess I don't know if it's a helmet or if it's actually like the undead skull kind of thing. So this.
Yeah, I think it's a helmet.
Okay. But yeah, it's just looking really cool, and then flowing into the shoulder pad and the way that the light's reflecting off the tattered cloak at the back.
Yeah,
got a great sort of roll to it. But yeah, looking really nice, Josh.
Good job. Chris Hood with the 90s Wolfen Warband from Rackham Miniatures.
No, wow. These guys are old. Old, I tell you. Can you zoom in on the middle guy? I want to.
Yeah, sure.
Understand what that. Yeah, that is looking very cool. That back banner, the moon, classic associations with werewolves.
Yes.
but no.
This Celtic buckle.
Yep. Yeah, definitely looking really cool. I'm enjoying the green on the armor plates there, and also around the the wrappings on that guy's arm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looking good.
And that is it.
Okay.
For our miniatures for this week.
Excellent.
So as I had said before, Painting Happy Little Minis is a Facebook group, and if you enjoy miniature painting, know people who enjoy miniature painting, make sure to request to join, and then send the group to other people as well if you think that they would enjoy miniature painting, seeing different miniatures. And part of the group and part of our goal in the show is to showcase that mini painting is for everyone. And so if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Feel free to ask them now in the chat if you need some tips or tricks on how to paint miniatures, not even related to some of these fantasy miniatures, but also just tips and tricks in general. Gretchen and Dave are here to answer them for you.
Exactly.
Because
make up the answers when we don't know them.
Don't make up the answers, folks. Don't worry, they're not making them up. They do have experience.
This is my first time doing this.
Don't let them trick you. So we are painting Sanctum miniatures. Sanctum is a game by Czech Games Edition, and we're actually streaming with them right now, which is really exciting. Oh, look! My miniature doesn't look too bad this far away. Next to the picture, I'm like, oh, wow, look at that.
Mine looks awesome. It's a picture.
And yeah, I know, right?
We're going to get too close to it. But anyway, keep going.
I was just going to say, there's actually a full playthrough of Sanctum happening on Czech Games Edition's Twitch page at 5 p.m. So if you're interested in seeing how this game is played, be sure to head on over to Twitch and check out that stream. Roll for Crit is going to be doing a solo player of that, and that will be really exciting. If you're kind of interested through seeing the miniatures, how this game is played, definitely check that out. And
that's 5 p.m. Eastern summertime.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Apologies for that. I always forget. East Coast, West Coast.
I'm liking how this is turning out.
Yeah, I want to
see it. So I added some highlights to his there we go.
I did download those.
There we go. I can turn down the light. There we go. Now you can see detail.
Excellent.
So I added some more highlights on there. He's turning out pretty good. I'm going to do a sepia wash and either ruin it completely or make it look really cool. So
I'm going to make it look really cool.
Oh, Joshua Potter says, in this episode, Leona discovers the 3-foot rule.
Yep.
I appreciate that. Okay, so Gretchen, I do have the photos if you wanted to talk a little
there
bit.
we go.
So Gretchen is the Outlaw currently.
That is the Outlaw. So you can see now that there's not a giant circle light kind of bleaching all the colors out. And I've added highlights since then. But yeah, the cloak is turning out like that deep, dark, reddish black color. I really like it against the kind of tan color of the other capelet.
Yeah.
I don't know that, whatever that is.
How did you end up painting the cape?
So I went through with a very dark mix of kind of that brownish color that I mixed earlier from the Vallejo Black Red and the Vallejo Dark Sea Blue. I did not make purple because they're not the right blue and right red to make purple. It made a nice, very kind of muddy, almost black color.
Cool.
And I used that as my base since I didn't have a ton of browns and I knew that I wanted something that wouldn't be overly saturated. And then from there, I slowly built up a lot of highlights with the Vallejo Flat Red. So it has a slightly warmer, slightly more orangey color to it, which I find for highlights, particularly in fabric, worked really well for that kind of red.
Nice. And I will go to the front picture that you have of this guy. Oh, wow. Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, so the teal looked really nice. It's not overly saturated. I still need to pick out some highlights.
Also, bye, Mailkip. Thanks for doing it.
I'll probably post up some pictures too on my Instagram and Twitter of him being a finished version.
So you went with the teal.
I did. I went with a very, very dark teal because I didn't want it to overpower anything. So it's a very dark teal, very very in line with everything else. I'll see about picking up some of the green highlights, maybe. I don't know. I kind of like the focus being all on the cape and whatnot because I like how that turned out more.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's all I got for you.
He is looking good, though. Looking good. Do you think I should showcase some of the boards?
Yes.
In the
I
box?
think you should absolutely showcase some of the boards because the artwork is very pretty.
I know. So this is in the box. When you open it up, you get the 4 miniatures, and you also have different boards depending on how many players that you have. And I just kind of wanted to showcase some of the art on this because they're double-sided and they also are really cool. Here's another board. Oh, I think this is obviously the end, like the big boss, right? The boss monster. And then lastly, this one. Here we go. And I keep saying it depends on the number of players, but I believe actually it's the level that you're on in terms of how far you've come through your hero's journey. And then the player count depends on other like tokens and stuff like that. Within the box, you get typical sort of cards, dice, lots of dice, and other bits and pieces as well.
More dice.
What'd you say?
More dice is always good.
More dice is always good. You get these little tokens. Here's your some weapon cards and other item cards as well. Oh, I didn't notice this before. Each player... Oh, but Josh has to go. Good night.
Ooh, bye, Josh.
Gotta sleep. See you all. Painting happy little minis every day. So what's actually really cool is each character has their own player board that you stack, and then you can upgrade different features throughout the game. This is the one for the Slayer. It's also how you keep track of like your fighting and stuff like that. This one's for the Huntress. We also have the Dancer. The reason why I'm showing these is then you can see the art a little bit better as opposed to my like tiny little thing. And then lastly, where is Mr. Outlaw? Where did he go? Oh gosh. Of course, the Outlaw is hidden. So then you see me scrambling for 5 minutes. Mr. Outlaw. We had to show him because Gretchen's painting him.
So yeah, they definitely have a more like subdued color scheme.
Yeah, they have his color scheme in the art is much more browns and tanned focused. But I think the way that you've been taking it with the red is really cool.
I don't know. I just see a feather in a hat and I think red.
You think? Let's make this red.
I think
That's just the color of all feathers and hats. I don't know what to tell you.
So I was thinking like in terms of because I'm always thinking of naming things. Should we pick names for our miniatures?
I think if the chat would like to pick names for minis, that would be rad.
Okay. I feel like we should pick one miniature to choose a name for. Should it be the Outlaw? I feel like yours is going to be the most finished.
Or we can
I've
take
been speed painting this.
the first 4 names that pop up and assign them randomly.
Okay. I like that.
I do appreciate that.
Oh, the Dancer. Awesome.
All right. For those of you who are watching in the chat right now, we are these minis in the game in Sanctum are called the Dancer, the Slayer, and the Outlaw. And I think it would be fun if we gave them a little bit more interesting. I appreciate the generic names that they gave because then you can kind of create your own story for your. Oh, Puff the Magic Dragon 42 says Carrie. CDI Arcade says I picked Gregor McGregcy. And Spider-Man says someone call him Tim.
What you call him?
Mike
Becker says Qualador.
All right, so what are the first 4 and we'll divvy them up?
Okay, well, it looks like it's Carrie, Gregor McGregcy, Tim, and Qualador.
All right. Who's going to get what?
I mean, I think mine should be Carrie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I think somebody's thinking that maybe mine should be Gregor McGregcy. Yeah.
Gregor McGregcy.
Yeah.
So that would mean, does that mean I'm Tim?
Yes. You're Tim.
I'll have to tell my friend Tim.
I wanted the Huntress to be Tim.
That's funny.
There we go. Okay.
Very good.
At this speed, I'm going to have a completed mini.
Yep.
Oh, Spider-Man says you should call the demon Tim.
Oh.
Which I can appreciate. There is a demon that he's standing on.
And it looks a little bit like Tim Curry.
It does. In Legend.
Yep. Does look like that.
Oh, Puff the Magic Dragon says, I name all my characters after my wife. I feel like that could go good or evil very quickly. The Huntress is Tim Jr., Sumkey says. Tim the Huntress looking for shrubbery.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Oh yeah, Gretchen, could you take a picture of your mini?
Finished
so we can
mini.
see? Because we are actually getting towards the end of our show.
I have a
Believe it or
fully
not.
completed, finished miniature, speed painted, done.
That's amazing.
With the power of believing.
Send me the photos so I can showcase them.
There you go. You have
Hold
a
on,
page.
let me get a nice light up in here. I'm getting paint all over my hands because I said it was speed painted, not.
Yep.
No problemo. So yeah, thank you all for joining us so far. Actually, Dave, would you mind giving a little bit of an explanation of what Painting Happy Little Minis is and
Okay, sure.
what we do on the show? For those of you who are new and joining us, thank you.
I'm trying to remember exactly what Gretchen said at the start of the show. Maybe we could just replay that part. No, Happy Little Minis is a show that we have every Thursday, usually 2 p.m. to about when we're doing a hobby hangout from home in these wonderful COVID times. It's usually from about 2 p.m. until about 3:30 Eastern Summer Time every Thursday, where we'll sit down, we'll paint. We may paint miniatures from board games. We might paint miniatures from war games, all sorts of stuff from role-playing games as well. And we sit, we talk about things that we've done, things that we're doing, painting that we're doing, paint techniques, ideas, concepts, color schemes, all sorts of things. We cover a wide range of different typically miniature-related topics. We also have a Facebook group. We're building a nice community of folks who are very interested and enthusiastic about painting little minis. You can post your there. Oh, you're going to say?
I said, now I feel like I don't have enough light. I wouldn't have too much light, and now I'm like, there's not enough.
I'll bring this one a little bit closer. No, yeah, so we have a Facebook group where you can post photos of your minis that you finished or ones that you're working on, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, come along, come to Facebook, type in Painting Happy Little Minis, ask to join the group, and we'll let you in. And yeah, is there anything I've missed?
Nope. It's genuinely a good time. We have fun here.
Yep. Very cool.
All right. While Gretchen is sending her mini away, I do have Dave's miniature all ready for us.
Oh.
Da, da, da. Is this the one?
That's the last one. That's the last one. There we go.
Oh. Where did the other one go?
I don't know. I sent you 4 photos of this is like one of them. This is one of the 4.
It's all fine.
One of the things we pride ourselves on here at Painting Happy Little Minis is a lack of professionalism.
Hey, no, that's not true.
Well, I pride myself on a lack of professionalism. me, I do. But yeah, no, I sent through 4 photos of a kind of like a rotation.
Okay, here we go. Here's one of them.
So there he is.
Woohoo!
The I think using the snakebite leather contrast paint from GW over the beard and the hair, the mohawk, gave it a bit of a ginger look, but it's not over the top crazy bright orange.
Okay.
So it's working quite nicely with the little bit of blue and the shading on the metallics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
All right, here you go, Leona.
Here's another one for you, Dave.
Yep, and you can see Tim there on the base.
Poor old Tim.
Screaming out. Great. I think maybe rather than cutting his head off, he might be about to plant that sort of butt spike through his head.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah. If you remember, all parts of the axe are deadly. And then there was the...
This is just another angle.
Yep. So the demon's got a lot of... it has sort of large plates with scales and that kind of thing on its neck. So I went for a black with those. Same with the spines. I think what I'd probably do... I don't... Yep, I do have them. But I didn't grab it in time. I probably would have used P3 coal black and a little bit of white mixed into it to highlight those spines too, because coal black has a bit of green to it, so it would have worked well against those. But instead, I just used some dark gray from Vallejo.
Yeah, overall, I think this guy is looking pretty sharp.
Looking good.
Mr. Slayer, he is ready.
He is indeed. Bring the stage to your town.
He does look like Tim Curry.
This guy, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we also have Gretchen's. Mr. Outlaw.
Ooh. Did he get a name?
Yes.
Tim.
No.
It was going to be Tim, and then we decided not to have Tim.
His name is Qualador.
His name is Qualador, yeah.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah, he's looking good with all of his neutral tones here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is teal and not black. I absolutely promise you. I'll have to see if I can get a better picture.
It's all good.
But if you look at the back, it looks really nice. We got that
we love the back. We love the back.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, this guy is looking real nice.
So
good work, Leona.
You mean Gretchen?
I mean Gretchen.
It's fine.
We haven't seen yours yet. Yeah.
We're one hive mind, so it's fine.
I'm gonna wait. I was just gonna let it go because my lack of professionalism would attest.
It's okay.
And then when you showed yours, I would say, "Good work, Gretchen."
I wasn't able to take a close-up picture of mine, so if you'd be interested to see mine, I will post it in the group later. So be sure to join our group.
You should
something to do. Oh, Tony says the back looks amazing.
See,
I agree.
Who needs a face? Who needs that?
Well, the outlaw doesn't want to show his face.
He usually has a mask on, which I did. I did silver because to me it looked like it had metal in it, and I just thought not silver, but gray, and I thought that looked better.
Yeah, my dancer, I added some more gold. I was working on her cape, and she will be coming together very soon. What's nice about these models is, what did you think they were? 40 millimeter scale, Dave?
It's like 32.
32?
Not too tall, not too big. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I feel like they're a really good scale in terms of they're very easy to hold, but then also they do have good details on there that you can definitely pick out if you want to kind of bring the painting up to that next level. Yep. So that is our show, folks. We have painted miniatures from Sanctum, which Sanctum is a board game by Czech Games Edition. Woo! I have mine in the back. You can't see it right now in this shot.
Oh, it was right side up when I did it too.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be... it looked like a mask.
Yeah. I appreciate Chris's comment. Your guy isn't an outlaw. He's just public health conscious.
Yes.
I agree with. I agree with.
Germs. He doesn't want to spread the poison.
There were 4 miniatures actually in this game. Dave painted the Slayer, I was painting the Dancer, Gretchen was painting the Outlaw, and there's also the Huntress in there as well, which is really exciting.
It's a very pretty sculpt. I like it.
Yeah.
She's in a good dynamic pose, yes.
These this game is actually out now, so if you are interested in painting these miniatures and playing this game, be sure to talk to your friendly local game store and they can totally get that for you. It's been out for a little while, and it's genuinely a fun, it's just not a war game, but it's a hero game where you go through and you fight different dungeons and monsters. Actually, right after this stream at 5 p.m., Roll for Crit is going to be doing a full solo playthrough of Sanctum. So if you're interested in to see how the miniatures are actually played in the game, be sure to tune in onto Czech Games Edition's Twitch channel, and you'll be able to see that, which is really very nice. I love it. And as you know, this whole show, we are part of Game Trade Media, Painting Happy Little Minis. So make sure you go on over to that Facebook group, follow Game Trade Media online, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're on all those places. And say hello to us there. And then you can be notified when we go live again, because we do lots of gaming and also painting. Our show, painting, is always every Thursday, which is nice. So... all right. Is there anything else you guys would like to talk about? Or are we pretty much done for today?
I think we're pretty much done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes, thank you to Czech Games Edition for having Painting Happy Little Minis on the show. We really appreciated being part of Gen Con Online. Be sure to go and check out whatever else is happening this weekend. Lots is happening this weekend.
Yeah.
And keep painting your miniatures, because that is the most fun of all.
And
I think we would all agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you next week. Bye.